Okay,
Very good. Is there a flag in the background anywhere there?
there is right there. Can you see it?
Got it. There we go. Well, I'll call the meeting to order and we'll attempt to do the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
Okay, first item, we need to approve the revised meeting agenda. So I'll need a motion and a second, please.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the previous minutes. There's 3 of them.
So moved. All
Second.
3.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Treasurer's report and warrants.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions for Scott? Very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Difficult to do public comment this way, so we'll move on to the building principals report. Mrs. O'Shaughnessy.
Okay. So, as usual, I will share some highlights from my board report, and if there's anything that I don't mention that you would like to ask questions about or would like me to elaborate on, please feel free to have me do so. The first thing that I'd like to share is under the student section, and that is that last week, CBS, as in CBS News with Nora O'Donnell, reached out to Lori Atkinson because she used Steve Hartman's Kindness 101 on the road segments as part of her final exam with her juniors. And when she posted that to Twitter, linking to Steve Hartman, they were interested to see what that looks like. And now we're interested to see where that goes. It would be kind of cool if Steve Hartman came on the road to Copenhagen. Administratively, I really have to say that just about all of my waking moments and many of my sleeping ones have been spent working on graduation for the seniors. It's been quite a ride trying to just try to cover every base for the kids. We just finished the graduations by appointment last week. And we have quite a surprise for the kids. We had every student sit on the stage in the chair that they would have been in had we graduated the traditional way. And Ginny worked her magic. And I tell you what she came up with was nothing short of incredible. So we are anxious to share that with them. I think we're going to put together some hard copies. I'm hesitant to put it out on social media because she did such a good job that it looks like all 27 of them were there on that stage this close to each other without masks. So we're really a little nervous about putting it out there for everyone, but we at least want to have something together for the kids on graduation day. So still working on that. The other big thing I wanted to talk about with regard to board goal number 1, reducing bias. As you know, our world has been rocked with the protests and all the way up to riots with regard to the Black Lives Matter movement and the latest killings in the various cities around our country. So Bridget and I decided we can't just do nothing. We can't just let something as big as this happen without giving the students a chance to at least come together and have an open dialogue if they so desire. So we did have 2 open sessions for kids to join Google Meets, one for the middle school, one for the high school. They were not highly attended, but the kids that were there were able to air their thoughts, share their opinions, and just talk honestly about everything that's going on in their world. Apparently, when she went to her next counselor's meeting after that, those 2 evenings of sessions, Copenhagen is one of the only schools, if not the only school, that did something in response to what's happening in the headlines. So that was something we were pretty proud of. Another thing that the technology department wanted to make sure that you were aware of with regard to data safety and security is that the deadline for us to adopt and publish our data security and privacy policy is no longer July 1st. It is now October 1st as part of Ed Law 2D. So we do have until the fall to get something done in that regard. So basically, I can say that, the year has been ending quite tumultuously. There's a lot happening. There's a lot to be thinking about. But we really, truly are trying to cross all those T's and dot all those I's. We're trying really hard not to let anything slip through the cracks. And by, constantly talking and communicating with each other, I feel like we're doing pretty good at making sure that nothing gets forgotten and that all of our possible options are being addressed. So we're trying. And that's all I have to highlight. Is there anything that you'd like me to elaborate on?
Something you didn't cover, just a quick question, and it stems from something that happened with BOCES. So did the students, the seniors in particular, did they apply for scholarships at the rate that normally our students do? Or was that reduced some this year?
Bridget worked it here. I think she would tell you that it was slightly lower than normal. If you're in school, you can remind kids, in person and in the hallway, hey, don't forget, we have these applications available. Don't forget to fill them out. She did reach out to kids and she was able to get applications for all the scholarships, but she would tell you that it's not normally as normal.
There were scholarships at BOCES that went unclaimed.
Oh my.
Nobody, not enough people applied to give out the scholarships that were available. So I was hoping that we had better success at Copenhagen. I know it's way more difficult doing it this way, but I was hoping that we were able to have more success because the scholarships were there. So
yeah, we have to cut these scholarships out for lack of interest. So that's a good thing.
Yep, good. Okay. Anybody else have any questions for Mrs. O'Shaughnessy?
I told Troy when he came in with Olivia for her graduation by appointment about what graduation Sunday is going to look like. So Fred, if you want to give me a call sometime this week, I can talk you through that process so you know what to expect and don't get there and just kind of, wonder what's going on.
Very good. Thank you, Mrs. O'Shaughnessy. Mrs. Ratliff?
So Mrs. Ratliff is not present with us tonight. Her mom's in the hospital. So, so she's spending some time with her.
Okay.
But if you have any questions for her, whatever, let me know and I can pass them on, or you can contact her. She will be here again tomorrow. So she just wanted to scoot out a little early tonight and get up there. So.
Yep. Okay, not a problem. Very good. Mr. Connell, your report.
So I just want to say that the plans for graduation, and Nadine described them to you, she's done an amazing job with that. The picture that she described is unbelievable. And the more people talked about everything that our seniors lost this year. From a graduation perspective, I think they're getting a whole lot more. Them coming with their parents and being photographed with their parents and doing all that, that's something that they might get their mom or dad to run down the aisle and take a picture during graduation. But they, Tony had designed an amazing little backdrop with the school logo, professional lighting, and all of that. So they're going to have that, memory, not to mention the class picture. And I think what has been planned for outdoors on Sunday, provided it doesn't rain, is going to be no different than what they had in the gym. Hopefully it's not 95 degrees and humid. That could be a little bit of a problem as well. But I think people are going to be very pleased with it. And Nadine said she wasn't lying when she said she spent every waking hour preparing it, because she has. And I think it's going to be really good. So we're excited about that. As you know, the budget passed. All 3 propositions passed. That was a concern, having as many voters as we had this time. But I think people really stepped up and showed their support for the school, which I think was really great. We interviewed for Spanish today. We'll be offering job to a South Jeff teacher who lost their job, similar to our teacher moving on. So I think she'll be good. She's a native speaker, so that's something I don't think we've had before, at least since I've been here. I guess we have once maybe, but that's kind of a plus. UPK graduations and kindergarten graduations, as you know, we did as a drive-through, and they were great. It was so neat to see all of the kids. They really love their teacher because you see them, but boy, when they hadn't seen them for so long, it was tearful on both people's parts, the teachers as well. They were, shook up a little bit to get to see their kids again. So that was really neat. And especially the kindergarten, the pre-Kers, we had them stay in the car and they gave them gifts and things like that. But we let the kindergartners get out, and have their pictures taken with the teacher. We set a little photo booth up for them. So that was nice that they had a chance to do that. And a lot of them came with their pillowcase on and their hat too, which was kind of neat. So that's one of my favorite things. And I got to, didn't get to shake hands like I normally do and have them do their little speech, but it was pretty neat. Building project, they were on site last Wednesday getting everything ready, and they actually started today. It's quite a process. The field, you would not recognize it if I was talking with Mr. Murray before some of you may have gotten on. But if you can picture the field and the side of the field that's closest to the school, there was a 2 hill, came across, went down a hill, and then down another hill. Well, there's only 1 hill there now. They completely removed the one, and it will be obviously a completely flat area here pretty soon. They have half of the bottom field done right now, stripping the topsoil off, and then they'll move on from there. So pretty exciting. It's been a long time. It was 2018 when this whole started, and to finally see boots on the ground and some work going. I felt like a little kid. I spent half my day outside just watching all the trucks go around, so it's pretty neat. We are meeting, I think, Nadine, correct me if I'm wrong, tomorrow to talk to seniors one more time about graduation. And also there was a little controversy on where the money from senior trip was going to be spent. And we found out through our attorneys that it has to be spent on something educational. I think there were some people that were hoping that could be refunded to the students, but it's got to be used for educational purposes. So we're meeting tomorrow with some ideas about what that money can be used for. And at the end of the day, the seniors make that choice. We can't decide for them. We can encourage them to do things that are good for our district community. I think the one thing we're going to really press for is to do something for the community. A lot of times they will give that money back to the school or to a class in the school, but the community really stepped up for them this year. The churches, the fire department, all of those places really stepped up and done a lot for them. So our encouragement is going to be for them to look and to do something for those organizations. because of all that they did for them. So that's neat. And lastly, I did send a letter out today to all of our parents, first thanking them for everything that they did during this. It was when I was preparing to write this, I didn't realize we were actually out exactly 100 days. 100 days from March 13th when we left till June 17th when school ended, counting the weekend, because I know that kids were probably doing some work on the weekend, but we were out for exactly 100 days. So in the letter, I thanked them for that, for the passing the budget, of course, and suggested some things they start thinking about. And I think I put this in one of my board reports, things that they need to start thinking about for next year and what worked for them and what didn't. You know, if we have to be remote again, you know, what they would like to see. Our goal, as best we can, is kind of to develop an IEP for every family. You know, how do you learn best? How do your kids learn best? What works best for you? Time of day, paper and pencil, or, you know, technology, and try to get an idea and try to meet those needs. We obviously can't meet every family's need perfectly. Our teachers can't work from 8 in the morning till midnight. If they say that my child works better at, you know, from 10 to midnight, it's going to be a stretch to ask our teachers to get up at 8 and start teaching, and then again doing that at the end. But we're going to do our best to try and meet their needs. So asking them to start thinking about those kind of things. And what our plan is, if we can, to try to contact, you know, either through video conferencing or on the phone, and have a conversation with each family and just say, listen, remember, sent that letter out, you know, at the end of school, asking you to start thinking about these things. What does work for you? And then have those conversations from there. Worst case, we'll do some type of poll and just ask through some type of poll to do that. So that is all I have. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer.
One of the scenarios, and I know it's too early because the governor hasn't stated what is going to happen yet with school, and state and everybody else is waiting for the governor to tell us how it's going to go, I guess. So at least that's kind of the way I'm hearing it. But a lot of the conversation at this point that I've heard is on this hybrid model, which seems to me to be the most difficult, or could be the most difficult to maneuver with scheduling. Because you're gonna, I mean, if a student was going Monday and Wednesday, because we're only gonna have half the class at school. So if a family had, just for fun of it, say we had a 5th grader and a 7th grader, you'd have one in middle school, one in grade school. One could be Monday and Wednesday. The other one could be Tuesday and Thursday, and Friday's an at-home day. You know, how do parents navigate that? And how does the school try to keep that from happening? Because, you know, you got different grade levels and different families, and I mean, what a nightmare that can turn out to be.
So we've had tons of conversations about that. Just recently, our last superintendent's meeting, you know, Mr. Todd addressed that with us, and we all kind of were on the same page of it just doesn't work. You know, right, start with busing, you know, can we overcome that? Yes, if parents can bring their kids in any way, we could overcome that. But, you know, social separation, you know, we're a large group gathering by nature, and to make that happen is rather impossible. So if their idea is to limit the number of people in the building, you know, and we kind of said to them, we could go crazy and spend days and days thinking about what that looked like. Until that is given to us, we really haven't spent a lot of time thinking about it. We're spending, how can we get better at distance learning, and how can we be really safe, you know, cleaning and separating as best we can. There are things that we can certainly do to be cleaner and safer in the building than we ever have before. And that's where our energies have been spent right now. There's all kinds of talk, you know, some of it is, you know, do elementary come one week and high school come the next? You know, if it's a numbers game. I mean, It can be a social separation game. We cannot stay 6 feet apart. Our classrooms are I think, 360 square feet, which holds around 10 kids. So the idea to socially separate can't happen, but can we spread out if all our population? And, kind of what's happened thus far with our phases, it starts with 10 people and then it moves to 150. If he does that, if he says you can have 50% like he's done with restaurants, you can have 50% of your kids, do every other week is an option. We've talked a little bit about, if we're teaching remotely, what might be different is we might just teach science for 2 straight weeks in the high school, of course, and let kids focus on one subject and not get overwhelmed. I think that was some of the things that kids were saying is every teacher's giving me so much and I just can't concentrate and do one subject at a time. But yeah, staying here, if we're doing that, it's going to be a huge challenge. More so, like you mentioned, Mr. Murray, more so for the families. And the other piece of that is a lot of the families were either furloughed, or they were able to work from home. When we come back, we're probably going to be in phase 4. Probably all those furloughed people are going back to work, and the ones that were working from home are going back to work. So it's even going to be harder for families than it was this time.
Yep.
So those are all things that, if that's what comes out of it, and I know that school boards and I know that NISCUS and everybody else is certainly politicking for that not to happen because they understand, what the ramifications are if we try to do that. So it's going to be tough. And the thing is, we're supposed to have a reopening plan to state ed by mid-July. And I don't know what they're going to ask us to put in our reopening plan, but they better give us a little bit of time to plan for reopening. So, and here we are at the end of June. So we're talking in a couple of weeks, they better have given us some type of direction on where we're going. So we have a little bit of time to present our reopening plan.
Yeah, they've got about a week to send you guidelines.
Yeah, exactly.
We do have a task force put together to come up with guidelines for us for reopening, but I haven't seen any kind of information coming from that group of people yet either. So yeah, it's going to be, and it's going to have to be something that we react to very quickly when it comes.
Yep. And then you throw the budget consideration in with the governor having the ability to chop 20%. I don't know how you deal with that on top of some sort of different plan for education than what we've been doing either prior to last year or last year. So yeah, it's going to be, you guys are going to have your hands full.
Yes. Some people said, oh, it must, the job must be easier now. There's no kids in the building. It's 10 times harder.
Yep. Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Connell? All right. I guess we'll move on to new business. Superintendent recommends the approval of accepting a letter of resignation from Angela Cataldo.
So moved. Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the 2021 instructional calendar.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Is this subject to change with either budget and or how we're structuring education next year? Or
this is what we're going by. We're going by this because we're going to be back on the 8th of September. That's our plan. I did speak briefly with the union about snow day givebacks. We have 7 built in, and this calendar doesn't sit really well with that because before we had August days, that gave us more days. It gave us more snow days by starting in August. We aren't starting in August this year, so there really isn't a lot of wiggle room in it. We did talk Memorial Day weekend potentially. If we had snow days left, that would be one, but normally we've been planning for 2 or 3 give backs because of the luxury of being able to come in August.
Yep. Okay. Okay, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of Bowers and Company as the lowest bidder for our independent audit
So move.
for the next 4 years.
Second.
Any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the understanding of services provided to Copenhagen by the Bowers and Company.
So move.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the agreement for school physician services between Copenhagen and Lewis County General.
So, second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of Brooke Spalding as summer cleaner.
So move.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of letter of resignation from Richard Fleming from night watchman.
So
So
move.
move.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Appointment of Destiny Montalvo to the night watchman position.
So move. Second.
Any questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Appointment of Taylor Burris to a full-time cleaner position.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the resolution to approve the sale as scrap of Chromebooks to graduating seniors.
So
$5
moved.
each.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approved the sale of a MacBook Pro as scrap to Darlene Rowsome for $100.
So move.
Any questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the resolution, substitute transportation employees for the training, compensation.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Request for the following individuals to carry vacation days over,
So move.
8 of them.
Second.
Discussion?
Nadine has to take some vacation.
And Mr. Luther, you were saying it was very important for everyone to make sure they take their vacation, how good that is for everyone. You're not far from the top of the list.
I just put in for mine in July.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the memorandum of agreement between Copenhagen and the support staff in regards to unused vacation days.
So move.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approve the contract of health and welfare services between Copenhagen and Watertown City.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the Rural Schools Association membership.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? That group does a lot to help us in Albany and beyond, so that I really support those guys. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of the agreement between North Country Family Health Center, the dental program.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution Copenhagen Central and St. Lawrence Louis Bosse's purchasing.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Appointment of the coaching staff for 2021 fall sports.
So move.
Second.
Any questions?
There's none for the boys yet.
We apparently aren't playing, no.
No, Scott Randall, who is our boys varsity coach, and Marissa Kearns, who is our modified coach. Scott is going to take a few years off. He's having child number 4 this fall, all under the age of 5. So, and his wife, as you know, is an attorney who works a lot at night in court. So he asked if he could step down. And Marissa Kearns is also having a baby this fall, later fall. So she's waiting to see. She's still interested in doing it, but she wants to see how many kids are coming out for the team. She's not comfortable if it's going to be a very large number. If it's a smaller number, we do have backup plans for all of that. We posted by contract, we have to post for our people within, and we did and do have people interested at this point. But we're just going to kind of wait and see what happens with Marissa, and we'll appoint a boys coach shortly.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The appointment of the club and advisor staff.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion or questions?
Brenda, I may need to abstain on this one?
I would play it safe, Corinne.
Okay.
That'd be
I'm
my
good with that.
that'd be my recommendation. Just play it safe.
We have enough people to, okay.
Yep. Okay. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Yes.
Okay, recommendations on the Committee of Preschool Education as presented.
So move.
We have a second?
Second.
There we go. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On that, there was some question whether there was going to be face-to-face services this summer. Yeah, are we doing any face-to-face services?
We are not. I think, Nadine, correct me if I'm wrong, and Pam would be better at this, and we can get you a definite answer. I think we only have 2 that require those services, and I don't think they're going to be getting them.
Okay.
The last I talked to him, we were not having in-person services.
Right.
But we do have some service providers who will be providing services using tech.
Right. Yep. Yeah, there was some question with some governor's comment about in-person.
Right.
Yeah, so I didn't know where we were on that. I was hoping that we didn't have to take that step yet, so that's good. Okay, discussion items. The Board of Education dates 2021 school year. Organization meeting Tuesday, July 7th at 6.
We're gonna do that in person, and if you're not okay to come in person, that's fine. We can stream you in just like we are now, but we're gonna try to move back. We can certainly social separate in the library or the old library and be fine, so. And we fall within the number requirement doing that, so.
Okay,
And Mr. Murray, we were looking at, if Monday meetings still work okay or Tuesday. I know Mr. Stakel is not free on Mondays.
good question. I guess we can open that up to the rest of the board. For me, it probably doesn't make any difference. I don't have anything on Tuesdays either as a rule. So Monday or Tuesday are fine with me. What's the rest of the board feel?
I'm good either way.
Yeah, Tuesday's probably slightly better for me.
That's fine.
Gabby?
Yeah, I'm good either way.
Okay, so if Tuesdays work better, it gets Bob in. I'm good with that.
Okay.
Anything else, Mr. Connell? Do we need an executive session?
We do not.
Yay. Sorry.
Okay.
I mean, we can make something up if you'd like.
It's been a bad day. I'm good with not meeting anymore.
Okay.
That means there's no issues, no problems. That's a good thing.
Yeah, well, that means we just didn't find them yet.
They're out there.
Glass half full.
You will be getting an email tomorrow from Brenda. We don't have all of the superintendent evaluations back yet. So if you haven't done it, you're going to have about a day and a half to do it. So by Wednesday night or so, I'm going to start compiling whatever I've got. So please, if you haven't got it in yet, you'll be getting an email. So send it back. Brenda, is the link going to be in there for the survey? So we don't have to go all the way back to the original one?
Yes, I will send that out.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
Because that was a while ago, so to find that would be
Yeah, absolutely.
a few hundred emails back, so, okay. Anything else, Mr. Connell?
That is it for me. Thank you all for joining us tonight. And we'll see you at the reorganizational meeting in July.
In person,
Thank you.
yes.
We want a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Need a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Great night.